Being green? Yeah, I'm green today. I'm wearing green-colored beard paint, or whatever the hell it's called.
Does that mean we got to talk about the Jets?
Actually, yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, worked out very well. The timing couldn't have been better. We will get to everything today, including Xavier McKinney maybe telling us his future and what team he's going to play for. We'll play a brand new game for the first time ever of running back bingo. And we'll explore the job statuses of all our coaches and managers in the beautiful tri-state area of sports. And, of course, we'll talk to you throughout the day, 877-337-6666. But I heard something this morning that really excited me, that got me feeling calm would be the word. And I'm usually not a calm sports fan. I'm an irrational sports fan at times. I'm an angry sports fan. I'm a crazy sports fan. But all I want is to be loved. That's all I want.
Okay.
When you root for certain teams in this town, you just want to feel love. And I'm about to play you a clip. It's very short, it's very quick, and it's to the point. And it's why today I am calmed about the future of the New York Jets. It's why I feel good about the future of the New York Jets. It's why I feel loved by the New York Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, he hadn't talked in months, and we missed his voice. We present to you Aaron Rodgers.
Feeling really good, and again, I'm hopeful I can play 2 or 3 or 4 more years.
2 or 3 or 4 more years. Well, after last night, I think both sides of the aisle will be chanting the same thing at their geriatric candidates. They'll be chanting 4 more years, right? 4 more years.
4 more years.
For either that old guy or this old guy. Well, guess what? I got 4 more years.
4 more years.
Out of my old guy. Aaron Rodgers. And what that does and what that proves to every Jet fan who has any doubts, to you, Tiki, to you, Sean, to anyone out there, is I am not thinking about the future at quarterback because I don't have to. The future of quarterback just told me he's going to be here for 4 more years.
You just have to worry about the backup in case he gets hurt.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
I'm being facetious, but I'm serious. The interesting thing is, until Tom Brady did this, who the hell was thinking about playing until they were 44 years old? And I almost feel like Aaron Rodgers is in the competitive space to prove everybody wrong about him, but also do something that no one else has done. And I felt that started last year with the Achilles stuff, and he wanted to come back, the first person to come back, in a season, even though it actually happened before, right? Didn't the running back for the
Cam,
didn't he do it? And it wasn't the same season, but it was really quick.
Well, he made a quick recovery
quick
from it, yes.
recovery, but he ended up hurting it again.
It was, but it was, remember, very early in the summer, and then it lasted until the Super Bowl.
It wasn't like it was in the first game of the season like it was with Aaron Rodgers. So my point is, he's so competitive and so anti-hater. Like when people hate him and tell him he can't do something, he's proven that he's going to try his hardest, his damnedest to try to make that happen. And I think over the last couple of years, especially with him getting hurt, and then first of all leaving Green Bay and then getting hurt, there's no way he's playing till he's 42 years old or 44 years old or 45 years old. Now I think he's got in his mind, and you never want to doubt Aaron Rodgers, but in his mind, he thinks he can play.
Yeah.
As long as Tom Brady played.
Yeah, well, I think that the difference in mentality is everything. A year and a half ago, Aaron Rodgers said, I may retire. In fact, I was 90% ready to retire. Well, here in 2024, Aaron Rodgers just told us, I'm not even thinking about it.
4 more years.
I'm not only playing this year, I'm playing next year and the year after that and the year after that. And that gives me peace because I think for a lot of us as Jet fans, we have viewed the Aaron Rodgers era and this current incarnation of the New York Jets as, hey, it's a 1-year window. We got to go all in. And that shouldn't change the mentality necessarily of going all in. But what it tells me is that window may be a little bit more open than everyone realizes. Because, yes, he's 40 and eventually 41 and 42, and bleep happens. I acknowledge that. But if the mentality is there to play 4 more years, his words, not mine, then I'm ready as a fan to wrap my legs around Aaron Rodgers and say, go do it, bro. I need to ride Aaron Rodgers. And we should, because the Jets' best hope of winning this upcoming season, the year after that, And the year after that is with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, despite anything you guys throw at me today, because deep down you know I'm right.
No, of course you are, because every team needs, at the very least, a competent quarterback, and the only chance you're really winning is if you have an elite one or a top-end one. Maybe not elite, because I don't think Brock Purdy is elite yet, but you got to have a guy who you're not worried about on Sundays making the mistakes that are going to lose you games. And Aaron Rodgers is that guy. The question, though, just becomes, one, continuity of staff. Like if they underperform for whatever reason, I'm not going to predict injury to Aaron Rodgers again, but let's just say underperformance, does the staff stay? And if Aaron Rodgers gets an entire new situation with the Jets, and a lot of people are talking about not having faith in Robert Saleh and his staff, what does that do to Aaron Rodgers?
You want a short answer to that? I'll give you the damn answer. Yes, the coaching staff could be gone, and Aaron Rodgers would be the quarterback a year from now. Now, obviously, a lot has to happen. I don't want to project that this season's going to suck and Aaron Rodgers is great, because that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But in theory, I have a Hall of Fame quarterback who, up until last year, had a pretty good track record of staying on the field. I mean, if you look at the last 5 seasons before last year, Aaron Rodgers went out and played, even sometimes through injury. So the track record tells us Aaron Rodgers will be out there.
Right.
And so I look at a guy who, yes, he hasn't done anything yet for the Jets. It's 4 snaps. It's 1 game. But he's the guy.
No, of course.
He's the quarterback. And, yeah, if things go sideways next year, is there a scenario where you're blowing up the coaching staff and keeping the Hall of Fame quarterback? Absolutely. Yeah, that scenario exists. I think that scenario is likelier than getting rid of Aaron Rodgers after 1 year, if we're being honest, because he's just told us, and I think this matters. It certainly matters to me. He has told us, dude, I'm playing.
4 more years.
And I'm not just playing next year. I'm playing the year after that.
He wants to.
Yeah. Well, want is a big factor here, T.
Oh, of course.
You could have played more years. You didn't want to. You decided to walk away, and God bless you for that. Aaron Rodgers just told us, dude, no, my intention is to play multiple more years, which is great news if you're a Jet fan.
If you're a Jet fan, it's great news. Now you just need to see it executed. Now the question for Jet fans is, how excited are you going to get about this? Right? How giddy are you going to get about this? A year ago, you were so giddy about the prospect of a Super Bowl viability. I mean, he was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. The question now is, what is it this year? Right? What's the expectation this year? Because there's still a lot that needs to be done, including offensive line, which we've talked about, and another receiving option, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's not as many questions as, say, the Giants, the other team in town here, but there are still some questions around this Jet team. And what's the expectation for them?
No doubt.
Despite the excitement that Aaron Rodgers is going to be here for more than a couple of years.
No, but you know what's not a question? What's not a question?
Who's the quarterback?
Is thinking about the quarterback next year. To my fellow Jet fan, I want you to get that crap out of your mind. I want to get it out of your mind that with the first-round pick, they should even give thought to drafting a young quarterback. I want to get out of your mind, Jet fans, even the thought of using a second-round pick. Well, they don't have one. A third-round pick on a quarterback. I want to get it out of your mind that we as Jet fans and Joe Douglas as the general manager of this team should not think for a second about the quarterback of the future. There's no need to. You want to tell me Aaron Rodgers is going to blow up this year? It's a disaster, and even I'm coming on the radio in January saying get rid of him? Okay, maybe. Then you worry about it. But there is no reason when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback who just announced to the world 2, 3, 4 more years that you should use draft capital on a kid that in the best case scenario is literally sitting there for 2, 3, 4 more years.
4 more years.
You can't even consider it. And there are Jet fans out there that want to. Well, we got to be smart. We got to think about the quarterback of the future. My ass, quarterback of the future. The quarterback of the future right now is Aaron Rodgers.
I often wonder when Aaron talks if there's an ulterior motive.
What do you think this ulterior motive is?
I haven't figured it. And so there might not be. I think he just genuinely believes this, that he can play for 4 more years. When he says things, usually I don't say he's manipulating the perception, but he always says things for a reason. Right? What's the underlying reason for him saying?
I just figured it out. It's working.
3, 4 years.
Yeah, you know what it is? To get guys like me to say, don't draft a quarterback. We don't need one.
That's it. And to send Joe Douglas the message that I'm not going to do with the Jordan Love thing, so don't even entertain it. I'm here for 4 more years.
By the way, I'm glad he does that. Because here's what's really, really important when you're in this world the Jets are living in right now. It's a world that the Mets sort of tried. It's a world the Nets sort of tried. And I get it. It failed everywhere. you want to know the intent of your best player. Because if Aaron Rodgers behind the scenes is like, dude, 1 year.
Right.
I'm coming back from an Achilles. I'm going to give it my best shot. Then I'm out. Then we have a different mentality today. Then I have a different mentality.
You're figuring out how do you go from 10 to someplace more interesting to potentially get a quarterback.
100%. If he told us right now, guys, I just want to be honest with you. I want to be upfront. No matter what happens, I'm out after 1 year. We're having a different conversation, and I would appreciate the honesty. Having the mindset, whether you believe he's going to do it or not, because I get it. I can already tell you guys are doubting it. You're already saying there's no way it's going to happen. And that's fine. Doubt him. Doubt him at your own discretion. Doubt him at your own risk. That's fine. You should doubt him. But if his intent, and clearly it is I ain't going anywhere.
4 more years.
4 more years, Dan.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking about the future quarterback.
challenge-
You'd be stupid to.
The challenge in my mind is I saw Tom Brady do it. But Tom Brady never felt like he was like fading. He never felt like, oh, this guy he's getting old. Well, actually, his last year in Tampa, it did look like he was getting a little bit old. Now, he retired. I couldn't ever picture Tom Brady in it when he was 41 or 42 hanging it up. He just didn't look old. Didn't feel old. Didn't feel injury prone. The only challenge with Aaron Rodgers is that right now he feels injury prone. Now, I know he looks jacked.
Well, how is that fair? He had 1 injury.
I know, but
Do you want to bring up the thumb injury from a year earlier?
No, forget that one.
Okay.
The only other injury that I can ever remember was the collarbone. And that was like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It was a freak sack.
Right.
And he got landed on and he got hurt. That was the only time in his career he got hurt.
That was like 10 years ago now, too.
It was 10 years ago?
I think it was like 2014.
Wow.
No, that's the point.
Right.
Like,
So he's not injury prone.
Dude, his
at
recent
all.
memory until the Achilles injury is playing.
I know, but it messes with my mind a little bit because now I feel like he's old. But in the exact same situation with Tom Brady, I never felt like he was old.
I disagree about the Tom Brady thing, and I'll tell you why. In 2018 and 2019, while the Patriots were still winning 11 or 12 games, his stats started to dwindle. His dominant numbers started to go down.
He
Now
wasn't throwing for 5,000 yards.
Correct. He was still good. No one's saying he wasn't, but it looked like, and by the way, those were ages 41 and 42. And then when he went to Tampa Bay and went to a brand new team, especially in the first 2 years, I'm not talking about his last year in Tampa, he put up massive numbers.
Right.
Dude, he led the league in touchdown passes at age 44 when he threw 43 touchdown passes. So Tom Brady started to look in his early 40s as if, okay, I think Mother Nature is starting to catch up with him, or Father Time. And he's starting to show his age a little bit. And then upon going to a new team, wink, wink, it kind of rejuvenated his career.
Yeah, you're right.
He is not Tom Brady. I know he's not. But let's stop acting like this is 1989. Let's stop acting like a quarterback can't play into his 40s when last year he got hurt with a fluke injury. And ask yourself this. Has Aaron Rodgers looked old? When he played quarterback in his last year with Green Bay, he was affected by a thumb injury. Did you ever look at him and say, boy, athletically, he's getting old? You never thought it.
No, you never thought it. You didn't think it until this year, until last season, because he tears his Achilles after having a calf injury for however many weeks it was. And in your mind, when a guy has Achilles injury, first of all, you think he's never going to be the same if he's 25 or 35. But now he's 40 and he's coming off an Achilles injury, and we know how these things tend to spiral. I'm not saying it's a harbinger of something. I'm just saying in my mind, I now feel like he's old. And that's not a knock on him. It's just a feeling that I have. Now, will he prove me wrong? Of course. That's what Aaron Rodgers does. He proves, or at least tries to, prove everything negative about him wrong. And I give him tons of credit for that. But still, it's I need to see it now. As opposed to Tom Brady, where I was like, I know he still got it.
Yeah, that's key. You knew Tom Brady had it.
You already know.
Ain't Tom Brady. He's not. And what you just did, Evan, you broke down 2 straight years now. We've seen with Aaron Rodgers has gotten hurt. He broke his thumb, played through it. It did affect him.
That's not an age injury, though.
No. But Evan,
that's an unlucky injury, and
Evan,
you know it, dude.
I understand that. But as you get older, even if you keep yourself in top shape, things tend to break a little easier, okay? He went from that. He went from the thumb. He went to the Achilles. The track record is, you could call them each flukes, and I understand that. He's not a 30-year-old quarterback anymore. He's 40. And by the way, it's funny how we just throw out Tom Brady, but we fail to mention Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Phil Rivers, Eli Manning, while still playing and effective, all basically you could tell age had hit them at a certain point.
Okay,
we have
but
way more of a track record of that.
But you also hit on something really important in this equation. Playing and effective. For the New York Jets this upcoming season, and maybe even the year after that, and the year after that, since he's committing to 4 more years, they may not necessarily need him to be the best quarterback in the NFL. Now, it'd be nice. It gives them a better chance of winning a Super Bowl. But we just sat here for the last 2 years and literally came away from both seasons saying, boy, if they had any semblance of adequate quarterback play, they would have been in the playoffs.
Right.
In fact, let me raise this up. In Aaron Rodgers' final year in Green Bay, arguably one of the worst statistical years of his NFL career, right? Wasn't a good year. If he performs at that level for this Jet team, with this Jet roster, 12 wins.
Yeah. No.
And you know what? Tiki knows I'm right.
But is that your goal to be the Browns last year, or do you want to really compete here and own this
really
window?
compete. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2011.
Lowered, and that's fine.
Before you can celebrate as much as I want to, you got to walk. I actually learned that from you, Sean. You got to get there.
You do.
You got to get to the playoffs. You have to have success. If this man is saying 4 more years.
4 more years.
Then you got time to do that. Are you asking me, are the Jets going to win the Super Bowl next year? Probably not.
Right.
Do they have a chance? Yeah.
Well,
So-
it just feels less urgent. Last year it felt urgent. I don't know why. Before the season started, before he tore his Achilles, the Jets winning a Super Bowl felt urgent. So the only thing I'll give you is that it now doesn't feel as urgent. Now it feels like they can roster build the right way. They can try to get a more competent offensive line and try to put some depth and ancillary pieces, et cetera, around what Aaron Rodgers needs to do, but it doesn't feel as urgent. Now, does that take pressure off of them? It shouldn't. And maybe it's artificially doing that. That's the only thing you worry about. Like that urgency that we felt last year doesn't feel like it's there if he says, I'm going to play 4 more seasons.
4 more years.
4 more years. Last night, I heard a lot of 4 more years on social media from everybody. 4 more years of this guy, 4 more years non-consecutively from that guy.
Nestor Cortez.
But 4 more years from Aaron Rodgers gives us hope. And that is why, to Joe Douglas and to every Jet fan, I love you people, but we're going to disagree about this. We're going to fight. Drafting a quarterback and thinking about the future is stupid. The future is Aaron Rodgers. We'll get your calls next, 877-337-6666. We'll play a game of running back bingo. We'll mix in some baseballs. The show rolls on. And coming up at 5:30, you'll get to hear a random, exciting home run call from John Sterling to get you ready for this upcoming baseball season.